Hi there. In this video, we'll be covering how to write a self-help book. The tips in this video are the same that I use when I write books, so I know they're going to be useful for you. By the end of this video, you will learn the importance of unlocking the reader's problem, how to establish your credibility, and why keeping your process simple is the best strategy. And stay tuned until the end of this video for a free opportunity. Let's dive in. Self-help books are all about solving some sort of problem. The reader comes into it with something they want to solve, something they want to fix, something they want to improve in their life. They read a book like this because they want answers, they want solutions, they want something that can help them, that they can apply to their everyday life. When you're writing a self-help book, you need to figure out what problem the reader is trying to solve. Without doing that, you're going to fail. Simply put, you're going to fail if you don't understand what the reader needs and why they're interested in picking up this book in the first place. But you need to be able to carry it forward. It's not about a promise. It's not about some lofty goal. It's not about great branding or packaging. It's really about solving the problem and giving the reader actionable feedback that they can use. As you start working on your book, you also need to figure out what your credibility looks like. Why are you an expert that somebody should listen to? What's your background? What's your experience? Maybe it's a college education. Maybe it's a long time working in a different industry. Maybe it's research you've done. I work with a lot of people in the academic space who spent years and years and years working for different colleges. That's established credibility. That's somebody that you would listen to. If you don't have an understanding, it's going to be a difficult sell. I remember the TV commercials that talked about being an expert in certain fields, and the other person would say, well, I stayed at a Holiday Inn Express last night, as a joke. It's like, oh, I'm an expert now because I stayed at this place. Like, that's not a good enough thing to be able to write a self-help book on. You really need to be some level of established expert in the field that you're writing about. You need to have some background, some experience, or you need to do something to be able to write this book, whether it's interviewing a bunch of people. Maybe it's a book about leadership and you interviewed 50 CEOs for this book. Okay, that gives you the credibility. There's some level of credibility that you need to fulfill in order to make the reader interested in wanting to hear from you. Why do you have this message? Why should they listen to you? How have you figured out the solution to their problem? You need to figure that out at the beginning of this process and be able to map that out in the first couple pages of the book, because otherwise it's going to be tough for the reader to buy into this. They really want to buy into this book. And by you establishing your credibility and showcasing your credentials, quickly and efficiently in the first couple pages of the book, it gives them peace of mind that you're really going to help them solve the problem that they have, that you have the solution and that they need to keep reading in order to get there. After you've unlocked the problem that you want to help the reader to solve, and you understand how your credibility matches that and fits into that, you need to figure out the outline to the book. The outline of how this is all structured. What is the step-by-step process to solving this problem? How is the reader going to get there? This should be a simple process. This should be a 4-step process, maybe a 3-step process. That doesn't mean that there's only 4 or 3 chapters in the book, but over time, as you introduce these elements, you need to really figure out what your model looks like and how it fits within the book structure. How many chapters you want to have, the journey that the reader takes, and really unlocking that reader benefit through the pages, through the outline, the structure of the book. You want to take them from the beginning of the book where you promise them the solution to the problem they have, the end of the book where they have solved the problem and you can leave them in a certain place, a new normal where things are better because now they've unlocked this new thing. How do you get from point A to point B? It's such an exciting thing. I work with outlining so often with books. It's one of the first steps that I take whenever I work on a book project. And I just think it's such a valuable thing to be able to connect with it, unlock it, figure out the best path. And that's really a step to refine and whittle down. There's things that you might think are important to include in the book, but I'd really take a step back and figure out if they really, really are needed. Maybe that's something you can add online. You can post it online as an add-on. Maybe it's something that's tangential to the book and is not quite related. Outlining is really a great chance to refine the message to hone down on exactly what you want to say and to make it as simple as possible. By making it as simple as possible, it's going to make it more likely that people are going to follow along and want to keep going, because you've taken away their reasons for saying no and their pain points. And all you're doing is offering them solutions and guidance. And working on the outline is going to help you get there. The exciting thing about book outlining is that it can take many forms, but with a self-help book, I would really focus on making it as simple as possible. And that really means making the chapters as simple as possible. You could have a group of essays that build together. You could have 10 chapters or so, just fully fleshed out chapters, and there's 10 chapters. I would make the process as simple as possible, as streamlined as possible, to keep the reader interest carrying forward till the end of the book. When I read a self-help book or work on a self-help book, I think about the 2 or 3 things that I can learn from it. When I think about Atomic Habits by James Clear, which is an awesome self-help book and just a life book, there's these little lessons in there. There's one about a paperclip habit of, if you need to make sales calls or something, and you take a paperclip from one cup and put it into the other cup every single day that you make the sales calls, it reinforces the rewards. It reinforces the need for you to keep doing this. And it builds momentum. Being able to do those little things and to read about those little things, it inspires you. But it also just connects. It allows you to keep going with these things. And, it's not always about these big sweeping changes. It's about little things that can have big results. And through the process of the self-help book, you can give the reader specific actions. You can give them specific outcomes to focus on. So if they can take away 1 or 2 things, they've gained a lot of value from this book. And after you've solved problems for them and given them takeaways and helped them along their way, you can have a call to action at the end of the book. And the call to action could be to connect with you, to seek out this high-level course that you have to offer, to check out your website for different offerings. There's always something more. There's something else. There's something bigger, that you can keep helping people solve their problems, that the book isn't just the be-all, end-all, that the book is a starting point of a dialogue and a conversation with you where they can continue to connect with you and continue to relate with you and be a part of your network. That's the power of the self-help book. And the books that I've worked on in the self-help space, the most powerful have been the ones that understood that bigger picture and understood where to take the reader next, where they want to go next, what their journey looks like, and helping them take that next step for themselves. Now that you've learned all about writing a self-help book, I wanted to offer a free opportunity for you, because I'm sure that there's other questions you have about the book writing process. And I've recorded a course with a friend of mine, Nate Woodbury, who does YouTube production, who I've worked on a book together with. And we talked all about all of the pain points and the struggles and the ups and downs of book writing from both of our perspectives, this back and forth conversation. And I think that given your interest in writing a self-help book, you'll take a lot away from this course, that you'll learn a lot from it, that it's going to resonate with you. And I'm excited for you to check it out. The course is called Good Book Blueprint. Just head to goodbookblueprint.com. You can click the link below and check out the free course and feel empowered in your writing journey. And I want to help you as much as I can to see your success with your book. And I think, if you have any questions about book writing, this course will be great for you. Remember, good ghostwriting makes great books. I'm Dan Good. Thanks for watching.